Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence, bringing you the latest news, rumors, and discussion on the Nintendo NX. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So recently, Games Team spoke with a few different indie developers on the Nintendo NX as far as what they want to see out of the system. And a lot of the answers here are pretty freaking interesting. So let it just be known that many of them don't really have any information on the Nintendo NX. They're just giving their thoughts on what they would like to see. The different developers that they spoke to were Black Forest Games co-founder Adrian Goersch, I think I probably butchered that, Drinkbox co-founder and CEO Graham Smith, CTO Rebellion co-founder Chris Kingsley, and Zen Studios VP of Publishing Mel Kirk. Let's get into the first statement here from Mr. Smith. The Wii U was actually a great platform to develop on. With Guacamelee, having the second screen on the gamepad was a perfect place to put the game's minimap, and made the game a great fit for the platform. Having the ability to play games right on the controller itself was an amazing feature for times when someone else in the household was making use of the television. While this was never a problem for Drinkbox, I believe that limited power of the system made it difficult for third parties to bring their games from PS4, Xbox One to the Wii U, causing the system to have less than ideal third-party support. The next statement comes from Kingsley. In general, I'd like to see a console that has comparable or more power than PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and with familiar input systems. For an independent like Rebellion, you want to support as many platforms as you can, because you want as many people to play your games as possible. As a developer, of course, it's exciting to work with completely new paradigms, but we all have to consider the economic realities too. I'd like to see Nintendo putting in more effort to work with other third parties so that the Nintendo NX isn't just a great earner for Nintendo, but can be a great earner for everyone else. And I want to talk about that statement after I'm done reading everything else. Next statement comes from Goersch. Besides more power, which everyone assumes it will have, the main improvement we would like to see on the side of Nintendo's submission process, support, and tools. Everyone who had to create a Wii U e-manual knows what we're talking about. Next statement here comes from Mel Kirk. We are hopeful that whatever platform Nintendo makes takes steps towards the future in big ways. More horsepower, the integration of VR in some way, platform support for different business models, and an easier publishing process will all be very welcome. The Wii U certainly posed challenges for developers on a lot of fronts, but Nintendo is a company that the development community will support as long as the opportunity exists. It is hard to be critical, so I hope the new platform paves the way for success for everyone over the course of its lifetime. All the developers in this piece do agree that having a strong Nintendo console when it comes to sales is really good for the industry because of the history Nintendo has, the competition, uniqueness, all those things factor into it. Now, when talking about Microsoft and Sony, Kingsley and Smith mentioned that it's not out of possibility, out of the realm at least, that Nintendo can be competitive against those platforms. Nintendo has competed against them before in previous generations, but many of them did echo the statements that the point is to offer something to their target audience. Here's what Mel Kirk had to say on that matter. I don't know enough to give a yes or no answer here. I do know that Nintendo is capable of creating some amazing groundbreaking hardware that will get people excited and interested enough to at least consider a purchase. You know that Nintendo will bring their amazing games and franchises in a big way. And if they can get decent third-party support rolling, then the games will be there as well. Things can change quickly. Not so long ago, everyone was saying consoles are dead and this generation would be a bust. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. The developers also shared this last bit as far as what they'd like to see for the Nintendo NX. Mel Kirk said, I would like to see Nintendo once again generally engage with third-party developers. Sure, Nintendo has the characters we love and always will, but in today's climate, you must support the development community in order to have a healthy ecosystem. I look forward to seeing how Nintendo does this with Nintendo NX. Chris Kingsley goes on to say, I'd love to see Nintendo NX become a platform that publishers and developers can rely on, so they can invest and make great games on NX right now, so they can keep on making great games. Graham Smith says, simply that it has enough power, specs to compete with the current generation of consoles. This might prove challenging if they have a handheld standalone component to the console, but I really hope they can pull it off. And finally, Adrian Goersch says, I would like to see fewer gadgets and a button smashing only Mario Party. I'm going to go ahead and give my thoughts briefly on some of this here. I think what Chris Kingsley said is probably the most important. Nintendo needs to make sure that the system, of course, is powerful, but they also need to make sure that it's easy to port games over from the PS4 and Xbox One with familiar input systems. The Wii U gamepad is cool for some people who like to do stuff like that, but unfortunately it is an added cost of trying to get the game and the system and everything to work with two screens. I think that it's very important that Nintendo does have a normal control input scheme, just so everybody in the base package as far as porting over games doesn't have to spend any extra money on some type of dual screen mechanism or motion control mechanism that doesn't necessarily need to be in there for their games. Like he says here, they would love to support Nintendo, but as an independent developer, they have to think about the economic reality of supporting some system people aren't necessarily going to buy because you can get a better experience somewhere else. So Nintendo needs to make sure that they do have some parity between them this time. Hopefully the games are easy to port over, and the other third-party developers need to get paid as well, because that's one thing Nintendo has done pretty much in a lot of their previous systems, at least with the Wii and the Wii U, is that yes, their games sell a lot, but third-party games don't have the support, don't have the tools, don't have the online play as the PS4 and Xbox One games, or PS3 and Xbox 360 games, depending on what generation you're talking about. So many people decide, well, I don't want to buy a third-party game on the Wii U. I can't even cross-game chat with my friend, or I can't even party chat with my friend. So they need to make sure that there's tools that are comparable, there's features that are comparable, so your game isn't automatically gimped from the beginning. Because I know one thing, if I was going to buy the new Call of Duty game, or let's say the new Call of Duty game was coming out on the Wii U in addition to PS4 and Xbox One, there's no way in hell I'm buying it on the Wii U, because on Wii U it doesn't support the same type of features that on Xbox One and PS4 with the whole game invites, on-screen notifications, and things that's going to make playing online multiplayer easier for me. So why am I going to buy third-party games on Wii U when I can get a better experience on PS4 and Xbox One? So hopefully Nintendo does listen to the feedback and we can get some parity and we can get features that are just as good on the other systems, so third-party developers don't feel like their games are gimped because of the hardware. Alright guys, that basically wraps it up for my thoughts here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Also make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips, and tricks, and everything on the Nintendo NX. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next video. Peace.